Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Southeast Asia Brewing. So today I'm with Santeri Aramo, co-founder of Auki Labs, a technology company specializing in spatial computing and robotics. Now, Auki Labs developed the Posemesh. What it is actually a decentralized machine perception network to further the collaborations between humans and AI. And we're going to explore this unique and fascinating divergence on how Auki Labs offers solutions in the seas of industries centered around the emerging technologies. Welcome, Santeri.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for coming, man. Crazy market this week. I don't know if you're investing actively.
I am trying not to.
That's
yes,
interesting.
I'm definitely invested in the market. But when you're building something like Auki, it takes a lot of your time and in this kind of markets where it's so volatile, it's hard to stay on top.
You don't want to be on it 24 hours a day.
Yes, it's difficult to follow. It's hard to figure out what's rational, what's not rational.
Sure, yeah.
And so it takes a lot of time to digest it. And I have my bets, they're locked in, and I'm just gonna have to see them go through.
Understandable. Yeah. So I want to start this conversation with you actually. How did you get into the world of emerging technologies, AI, or like increasingly into Web3 right now with the token incentives? How did it all start? Your interest, or kind of like the problems that challenges you to move forward with the idea of developing and creating Auki Labs?
Yeah, so in 2019, 2020, I was working with my other co-founder, Niels Pill, figuring out on how to create AR overlays on top of tabletop games. Especially we were focusing on a game called Warhammer 40K.
Sure, yeah, man.
You know it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so as we were kind of figuring out how to overlay that, we realized that this problem of figuring out how to allow devices to see the same thing at the same time in the same place is a much bigger problem than just for tabletop gaming. Okay. And this is where it occurred to us. This actually is not just for gaming. This is literally the future. As we move from mobile computing to spatial computing, we'll need a new positioning system that needs to be built out.
Yeah.
And because GPS is not good enough. GPS is not accurate. It doesn't work very well indoors. And so we need to figure out a whole new technology that allows for spatial computers to visualize the world in 3 dimensions. And so that's where we got our start in spatial computing. And in order for us to kind of build the first aspect of that, which is creating updates of devices and digital objects within the digital realm. We had to figure out a low latency way of doing that, because imagine I have 2 devices that are looking at the digital space and I move something around it. Yeah. I'll have to update your device fast enough so that you see it move in real time. We figured out that that's about 20 milliseconds in latency or below.
Sure.
And centralized servers would take too long to distribute this information across to all the devices in real time. So what we figured out is, why don't we use just some microcompute from personal computers, from people very close to the experience, so physically close to the experience. And so we don't have to go as far out to have the latency shoot up. And so this is what allowed us to kind of understand that if we want to successfully create real-time shared augmented reality experiences, we'll have to go decentralized. And this is where our journey towards Web3 started.
So if we're looking at your website, so I'm talking about generally here, the information around Auki itself, you've developed a series of products. So these I suppose they're networks, including like the Posemesh is a system for navigating certain things. And then you have things like Cactus to navigate sort of indoors.
Those would be applications built on top of the infrastructure.
I see.
Posemesh is the decentralized machine perception network. Auki has built one of its own because it's decentralized and open source. Ours is called the Auki network.
I see.
But other people can build their own Posemeshes because we're going to decentralize and open source all the components for anybody to build this. And Cactus, which is an AI retail task management platform, is an application built on top of the Auki network.
I see. So that's where sort of like the playground for everything that you guys will create.
Yeah, think of spatial computing infrastructure as the iPhone moment.
Okay.
When the iPhone came out, we didn't know we needed one.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a technology that came out, and we were like, okay, what do we use this for? Like, I already have the computer to look at the internet. Why would I need it?
Yeah. Do you see that right now within the market? Like people still don't know like what they're going to use it for. Like they don't know that they need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're seeing this. And that's why Apple, for example, built the first applications, the calendar, the calculator, and all these very basic applications to show that what you can build on it. And our mission is to show people what can be built on top of it. We must show the road in order for others to be able to walk it.
The cost of pioneering is, I suppose, it's quite costly. Other people will think that, once this innovation go mainstream, like they're going to be building like, something else that might not be within your field of vision, I suppose. So what's like the next step of creating these first few products? And then what's your next iteration, let's say?
Our next iteration. Well, what I want to focus on next is to help people and companies and startups to build on top of the Posemesh. So we've built an accelerator program that is helping different companies to come together to actually use the Posemesh and specifically the Auki network to use a positioning system for their use case. We have several of these. The two favorites that I have, one is is called Alpha AI, and what it helps is it's a fly to earn mapping.
Fly to earn.
Yeah.
Is it applied yet, or?
The company exists, and we're now integrating it into the Auki network. Nice. And so they already use this today in Hong Kong. They use drones to map out buildings. And have a good copy of the space. They create 3D sort of representations of those buildings for the Hong Kong government to be able to do maintenance and inspections on the buildings in real time.
That's something else, man. I didn't. Yeah.
Not only that. Yeah. Auki is also the Hong Kong government just released the first piloting programs for the low altitude economy.
Nice.
And the low altitude economy is essentially just flying drones, flying taxis, and using the low altitude space to essentially become a way for companies to build businesses on top of.
Do you see this as something that's going to become mainstream in the future?
100%. Yeah. We already saw this in Shenzhen, in China. Yeah, flying taxis. It's a thing. They have the first official pilot. And they're gonna start transporting people. We show ISO speed. Take the flight.
I saw that.
The UAE is another place that is really pushing for flying taxis. We've heard the West talk about this for decades.
For a while now,
and it still feels like a utopia out there. Yeah. Well, China's built it. It's already happening.
Yeah, and. Like we're thinking about the biggest, more established brands, let's say like Apple and Meta with their AR glasses and their own version of this sort of utopia. Do you see the Asian Eastern Hemisphere like sort of equally competing with them, or just like we're heading to two different directions?
That's a good question. I think more. When it comes to hardware, there is definitely this East versus West battle going on. Okay. But I think beyond an abstraction layer on top of that is centralizations versus decentralization.
I see.
Those are playing out in both East and the West, right? And if we want to focus really on the companies themselves, right? So if you look at Apple, Google, Meta, they all are building integrated solutions for spatial computing.
Yeah.
So they build the hardware, they build the software.
Their own ecosystem, essentially.
A walled garden.
Right, yeah.
The danger of a walled garden is that they, in order for them to monetize it and to make it possible, they'll have to make sure that they can collect the data, right?
I like where this is going.
So collecting all of this data for free, for convenience, has been their business model for the longest time.
For ages, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Facebook tried to monetize their platform. They tried to make people pay for the platform. It didn't really work.
Yeah.
So they were like, you know what? Let's just get some funding. Let's just build it up to a huge point.
Yeah.
And then start selling ads. I'm afraid that big tech is walking towards the exact same future with spatial computing. But this time around, it's so much more dangerous.
Of course, yeah.
Because as an example, imagine Meta now has these AR glasses and we are all wearing them, right? First of all, in order for them to position these AR glasses within this room, for example, they'll have to have a 3D copy of this space, a digital twin of sorts.
Yeah.
So it can actually look for feature points, so it knows where it is in space and constantly keep on positioning itself. So number one, now it understands this entire space, right? Second of all, that means that all of the cameras and the sensors on the device will be on 24/7.
Gosh.
So the cameras will be seeing what you're seeing in real time. They will be hearing. Already all the devices can hear what we're saying, right? So that's not new, right?
Yeah.
They'll continue doing that.
Sure, yeah.
Not only that, they'll also place cameras inwards because they want to see inwards, meaning the AR glasses looking into your eyes.
Into your eyes, yeah.
The reason why they want to do that is because they want to first say, okay, I need to see where you're looking at so that I can place the information correctly, and then it just becomes a more seamless experience. But when you start running AI algorithms on top of that feed they get, you start seeing pupil dilations. You'll start seeing eyebrow movements, and you'll start seeing a collection of heart rate information, right? So now suddenly, when you're having this discussion with your wife and you get excited about something that she's proposing to you, let's say a skiing trip to the Alps, the AI detects that your heart rate goes up. It sees your pupils dilate and your eyebrows go like, and so now it knows that this is something that you're very, very excited about. And it can read this emotion before your brain can process it, which means it leaves a little window of opportunity. This window of opportunity will be the demise of humanity, because in this space, because we don't know how we feel really yet, because we haven't processed it, and so they can use this space to sell us anything. I used to work for Calvin Klein, and I was producing clothes for them here in the Asian region, and we used to have different buckets of clothes. We had the essential clothes, we had the sporty clothes, and the fashion clothes. I had to sell the essential clothes at a very, very small margin, because practical stuff people don't want to pay for. They just want the cheapest thing possible.
Right.
As soon as we moved on to the sports category, the clothes were emotional because they had more shapes and colors and things. And people bought it for double the price than they would buy essential clothes because they connected with it. And so in this same way, big tech can use this little window to sell us things for much more than they're worth, and for many more things that we don't want.
I see.
And
the same thing that's been going on with ads.
Yes.
Like just very simple ads that you see on the web, removable fonts. But this one is much more, the stakes are much more higher.
Yes, because you can be the most stoic person on earth and they'll convince you to buy ice cream 24/7.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I can see that happening, yeah.
So our cognitive freedom is at stake, ultimately.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is something that we are very worried about at Auki, very specifically.
And within this particular opportunity, what are you trying to tap? Because I see maybe people from outside of Auki's own vision can see this as sort of like more like a movement, or like instead of a company trying to build something. It's like, what are your lines of products, let's say, so that the people can understand what it is you're trying to offer them.
Sure. So right now, what we've built specifically for our community, the Web3 community, we've built an application called McKenna, which allows you to, you've read about it, which allows you to set up a digital layer here in this space in your own home. We have these QR codes called portal kits. You buy them on our website. It's $9.99. We'll deliver them worldwide. And you set those QR codes up in this room. And once you've done that, you can start overlaying digital information on top of the space. So you can start creating all kinds of digital experiences that allows you to essentially start getting your first taste of what it's like to have a spatial computing layer in your home.
Very accessible barriers, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's free now. You can go and download the app for free. You can set the thing up for free. The only thing you would need to buy is the QR codes.
Yeah.
And we could essentially take this sign right here and we can turn it into a digital sign. So the camera right there would see it, but it wouldn't need to be there right now.
Sort of like a tracker.
Yes. Persistent coordinate layer that allows you to put, for example, all of your NFTs across this room. And you can create different layers.
Yeah.
So if I'm not a cool friend of yours and you invite me here, you just want to show me your lame NFTs. But if you want to impress someone, you can just set up the different layer and allow them to see your best NFTs out there, you know? Because I know it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah, it's kind of the big thing.
But maybe on a more practical level as well, right? Imagine also you can imagine a restaurant that wants to display their promotions across in the digital realm. They want to have their menus displayed right in front of their tables because they think that this is the new wave of technology and they want to adopt it. It's possible. We can leave instructions on how to operate the cameras, for example, for your staff. Ultimately, the use cases are limitless.
Of course,
right?
Like, I'm also curious, how do you see collaborations or maybe partnership with different brands could come with Auki?
Well, we have very much focused on partnerships that allows us to essentially help our community to set up nodes out there. You can call them servers. So we decentralize several servers in order for this experience to be truly decentralized. Right now, what we've been working on is the relay node, the storage node, and the reconstruction node. There will be more nodes coming, like the vision node and a few others that we're working on. But ultimately, if you want your experience to be private and that you want to be in control of the data, you want to have a storage node, which means a local server that essentially captures all the information within that space. So the layer that you build, and then any visual feed that comes across with the devices that access it. Right?
Really a storage room for the information.
Ultimately, I believe in the fullness of time, all of us will have spatial computing storage servers.
Kind of inevitable, huh?
Yes. If you want to safely interact with the rest of the technological world out there, say with AI models that want to learn about you, but you don't want them to learn everything about you, you just want to learn very specific things, you create these nodes where essentially it just connects to that and it shares that information and that's it, right? That's why I think that it's the safest way. All of us having our own storage node where we store spatial data and personal data that we share with different AIs. Because if not, our data will be across every single device. But every single platform. Do you want that? I don't want that world.
Probably not. Yeah.
So the other things that we're decentralizing is the relay node.
Yeah.
That's the capacity to make sure that the devices that access, by the way, these hands represent 2 smartphones that are looking at a digital experience right here. I just realized that this didn't exactly make too much sense. So imagine that we have these 2 devices and you have digital information. And as I explained earlier, we need to update it in real time. So in order not to reveal these positions, but especially making sure that the latency is low enough, we need to decentralize that node. And then the third one is, which is coming next month, we call it the reconstruction node. So in order for spatial computers, and when I say spatial computers, I mean smartphones, AR glasses, and robots, they need a visual positioning system that allows them to see the information instantly of a physical space. Yeah. Right. And in order for us to build a 3D copy, which would be a digital twin of that space, we need to reconstruct it from a sparse point cloud that is captured with the phone as you scan like this into a dense point cloud. And whoever does that job, whichever GPU out there does that job, will essentially have seen all of those points. So you want to decentralize that so that you're in control of that GPU that does that job and captures that information.
Is it the same technology that we've seen with the latest iPads, the LiDAR technology?
LiDAR is a component to it. It's not fully necessary, right? The actual technology that's being used is SLAM, simultaneous location and mapping, which every phone and a camera has. It's essentially just trying to figure out its position relative to where it's been. And it sort of creates this coordinate system that is trying to track itself.
I see.
So we can use that tracking to overlay it with
you don't really need much of a technology to begin with.
No.
Like anything could be...
LiDAR is very helpful, right? Because LiDAR essentially, what it is, it's depth perception. It perceives the depth. It can see this thing right here and it knows the distance, right? And but LiDAR has a lot of downsides as well. Like, for example, LiDAR right now sees about 5 meters ahead. That means that you can't create very large spaces if you can just see 5 meters ahead, right? So we can't rely on LiDAR. It's also a very expensive sensor, and it's a heavy data capture as well.
Also, on the talk of, I want to focus on like the problems Auki tries to tackle. Like, let's say if we're talking about the past 4 years now, how has Auki dealt with the challenges that it was tackling, and what are your current challenges?
So we were very lucky to have raised over $20 million in funding during a very, very interesting time in crypto. It was during the 2021 bull run.
Sure, yeah.
And the biggest narrative that was happening during that time was building the metaverse. Everybody was building the metaverse.
It's the cool thing back then.
I mean, we have a company that's called Meta now.
Meta
right?
now, exactly.
So it was a big thing, right? Somebody literally renamed one of the biggest companies in the world
Meta
in its namesake, right? Yeah. So the metaverse was a very big thing that we continuously believe in.
Yeah.
So in comparison, just to explain, Meta is building a virtual metaverse where everything is rendered digitally in front of you.
Yeah.
Which means that you can't really walk away out of this room without hitting yourself against the door.
Yeah.
Because everything is digitally layered. And so you don't have visibility into the real world. That's VR, virtual reality. Augmented reality, on the other hand, is essentially overlaying digital information, seeing the real world. So we can essentially just navigate it and not have to be confined to a digital layer.
The more well-known is the Apple Vision Pro.
Yes, that's a mixed reality device that gives you the ability to completely go into a virtual world, but also create something called pass-through, where you kind of see. Actually, it's not like the way they built it is that they put cameras on the device.
Seeing your eyes as they move. Yeah.
Definitely. That's one part.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen it, but the eyes on the device, they're digital
like
eyes.
Digital eyes.
They're not real eyes.
And they look so artificial. Man. I don't know how they're going to improve.
Uncanny valley.
Uncanny, yeah. What do you call it?
So, essentially, just to answer your question, we raced on the metaverse narrative, and we found out that to be some time away still for humanity to really tap into. And so we had to figure out ways to actually practically face the challenges. So we started building applications like Incos. You will see more Incos coming out very soon. Whoever sees this and knows this, you know what I'm talking about. But we have these AR companions that we wanted to build. But the devices, the iPhones, the latest iPhone at the time, in 10 minutes was kind of like super hot and battery drained to half in 10 minutes, like terrible, right? So we couldn't rely on consumer hardware to kind of go out there and build AR experiences on. And so we pivoted when we realized that, hey, actually, the best way for us to showcase augmented reality and spatial computing is going through enterprise sales. And this is where we came up with Cactus.
Okay.
And so the challenge was getting consumers to have the hardware to actually be able to enjoy proper AR experiences, to then moving towards enterprise solutions where we can essentially tell them what devices to buy and what to use, and have a very clear use case for them, like with Cactus.
I see. What was the first iterations like with Cactus?
Well, the first iterations that we started with was nodes in space.
Right.
We were like, hey, you know what? The best thing in the world right now is creating digital post-it notes in space. What about if you can leave a digital note here for you so you can see it? Yeah.
So only I can see it.
Or you can share it collaboratively. You as well. Like just if you were to wear the AR glasses, you would see it here, right? But enterprise didn't really buy it. Specifically supermarkets, which we're targeting. Because they were like, hey, I don't really see a use case for sticky notes.
Sure.
But then as we evolved the product further, we realized, okay, what if we actually can overlay heat maps on top of shelves? Meaning that we can create layers of information on top of shelves. First, we can place every single product with centimeter precision inside every shelf. And then we can lay over sales data on top. So now they can visualize where the sale is happening on the shelf. And now you can throw AI into the mix and they can start analyzing that data. We call it shelf science. The ability to actually figure out how well your shelves are performing, right? Because they don't know how to. And so this is very exciting for them. They got very, very excited over this prospect.
So the AI later or the solution maker could provide sort of like the ideal space for the consumers, and they could generate more sales at the end of the day.
Yes. Just some stats for you, right? Right now, the what we built is for staff. Improve staff efficiency, their ability to find things. Because, for example, if every single staff member knew where all the products are in the store, they could increase basket size, which is the sale of every basket that a person comes in and out of a store's customer, by 6%. Literally, a lot of people go to a supermarket, and you must have gone many times, and you haven't found the thing you wanted to buy. What if it was in your fingertips and you could literally just see it? We have also enabled something really, really cool, which is, we call it appless navigation. So the same overlay that has all the information about every single product in the store, now customers can come with their phones, just open their camera app, and then scan a QR code, and it throws into a hyperlink that does not download an app. It's an app-free thing where it asks you to accept that the app can see the camera,
Okay.
and it gives you an index of all the products in the store.
Oh.
You then ask, can you show me where the bacon is? And you can walk to the bacon without having to ask a single staff member where it is.
That's very practical.
Yes.
My. Have you seen, do you see like a potential other utility? Is that from the supermarket thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, this is absolutely endless.
Yeah.
Right? The use cases are endless. You can go into warehousing, right?
Yeah.
You can go
supply
into
chains.
supply chains. You can go into hospitals. You can
yeah.
navigate people across so many different physical spaces that are out there. So this has so many use cases. I don't have the time to explain to you. Like this interview would never end if I were to explain to you, right? And our job ultimately is to build the infrastructure layer for this, so that others come and build the solutions on top, right?
Sure. What was the hardest challenge in building your iterations from the past 4 years until today, developing this like spatial computing technology supported solutions? I mean, it sounds very technical. I would assume that you would need to imagine several scenarios before the consumers actually found needs for them, right?
Yes. So a lot of the challenges can be essentially defined by a few parameters, right? First of all, calibration is very important, right? So when you access the coordinate system, if you're off by a few centimeters and you walk across the space, you're off everywhere, right? Nothing's in place. So calibration is very important. And we have a patent that we've already been granted called instant calibration, where when we know the size of a QR code and we scan it with a camera, we essentially we are able to know the distance from that QR code, and we place the spatial computer, the phone or the AR glasses, or the robot in this case, in the relative position from the entry point, and then we can start tracking it around. So that's number one. First, super important thing is calibration. The second important thing is called drift.
Okay.
Every single augmented reality application and use case will have this problem. Drift is when you're walking around a space and it's trying to reason where it is. At some point, it'll start drifting away from its original position. It no longer stays. And there are many ways to try and solve this problem. One of them is creating algorithms that help you to refine that constantly. But another way, which we are using, is we're placed several QR codes not far from each other.
Okay.
So that as you're walking around, the application has the ability to then know that it's kind of drifted, and it'll say, hey, can you scan a QR code? And as soon as you scan a QR code, it snaps you back into place.
It creates a sense of space for the machine.
Yes. It builds a sense of space, but it also aligns it, right? It aligns it back into its position. And those two, those two alone are incredible breakthroughs, right?
Right. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Want to talk about the decentralized aspect of Auki, about your Auki integrating its the token as incentives. Can you talk a bit about that? Yeah.
At the heart of the Auki network, the decentralization of it is the Auki token.
Yeah.
And it's a pure utility token that essentially has built something called deflationary tokenomics that are deeply baked into it.
Sure.
And what it is that you have a burn, credit, mint model. So once you want to access a coordinate system, say you're going to that supermarket and you scan into the coordinate system and you have to burn Auki tokens. Not the user, but the application that built the service, right? And they burn Auki tokens to get some credits. And once you get these credits, you use them in a metered basis. So
I see.
That's how you make a system that actually works with enterprise, where they can predict how many credits they have. You can think of them as AWS credits.
Yep.
So if I burn $100 worth of Auki, I will get $100 worth of credits.
Yeah.
That's how you peg the system, so that they always can predict, no matter how much the Auki price is, it's in dollar value. So we peg the credits to dollar value.
Institutions could always measure like the cost of something, like doing something.
As long as they burn it immediately. If you buy the tokens and then you wait, the value changes. Then you become a speculator. So you want to burn the credits, the tokens immediately, get the credits. And once the experience has happened, we then look at the different decentralized nodes that were part of providing that service, and we mint the token as reward to them, but always less than what we burned. So it means that we start with 10 billion tokens, and we work our way through to 5 billion tokens. So for example, if you now burn 100 Auki tokens, we'll only mint 50 tokens. If you burn 100 Auki, you get 50 tokens as mint into the reward pool, which makes it so that it essentially is constantly deflationary. And it's pegged to the usage of the network.
I see.
Beautiful. This is a beautiful mechanism for tokenomics.
For a second. I want to talk about now the market and the competition. Sure. How do you see? Well, I mean, I don't know the current target, like the current target market of Auki, but I don't want to talk about the consumer side. I want to talk about the sort of like the segmentation, the demographic side of things. Are you right now focusing on the Asian market, like globally? How do you see yourself positioning globally?
So we're headquartered in Hong Kong for various reasons. One of the big reasons is because essentially China is way ahead when it comes to spatial computing and robotics. So we want to be close to the source. One thing that I haven't really talked to you about is that we're integrating robots into the system. So we have several humanoid robots that are coming that we've essentially bought, and some have sent to us because they want them to have a shared sense of understanding of the physical world. So they're like, hey, send it to Auki, our headquarters in Hong Kong, to tap into the Auki network. And just recently, we managed to integrate Unitree G1 into the Auki network, meaning that now it can localize itself inside. So now it can actually see all the things in real time inside the network, which is super exciting. Robotics will need to have this in order to be able to collaborate. So I just wanted to make sure that we cover robotics a little bit. We can go a little bit further into it if you have any questions on that. But we're going worldwide. Actually, our head of business development is based out in Europe. And some of the best traction that we've seen in the retail space is actually in Europe. Not so much in Asia, more in Europe. And we even hired a person in the United States a long time ago to try and figure out how can we tap into that market. But it's a very, very a market that is very consolidated with very few players, Walmart, Kroger's, etc. And it's very hard to get in there. We're still working our way through. We're just doing some pilots there, but our first paying customers are out of Europe, actually. So we're worldwide. We're going all in. If you know any supermarkets that would want to have the ability to localize every single product in their store, let me know.
Let's put it out there. I'm gonna text some people after this is done. I
might have I might be doing something here in Bali.
Oh yeah, like specifically with the Auki technology.
Yes, and I can't say any more about it.
You can't say anymore. Oh my god!
Until it materializes further.
Like very soon.
Very soon.
Hopefully, looking forward for that. Let's talk about the markets in Southeast Asia. How do you think the competition is so far in Southeast Asia, and do you have specific countries you're focusing right now with Auki? So
we are trying to focus, first of all, it's
Yeah.
very important that you bring out one product and distribute it properly.
Yes.
Right? It's not good enough that you go out there and say, you build it and they'll come.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Not enough.
Distribution is key. Okay. Startups die on this idea. Okay. So you have to figure out distribution. And we are now working super hard to make sure that distribution is done correctly. And so I mostly focus on making sure that the clients that we've been piloting in Europe work out well. And in Southeast Asia, I have some pilots. Like I said, I'm doing something, an idea in Indonesia that I'm working on. I have something in Singapore and something in Hong Kong. So those are places where we're essentially have something material that we're
Different
working.
products, each of them.
At the moment, all of it is cactus because
Okay.
you want to make sure that you do one thing right first.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Because ultimately what happens is if I can monetize cactus, that creates burn for the ecosystem. And when it creates burn for the ecosystem, I can go out there and then convince other people to start building on the network.
I see.
So that's very important. We will be we're working on logistic solutions and warehousing and picking and packing orders, like helping, for example, DoorDash delivery people to essentially figure out a way to go and pick your groceries, right, from a store that has the Auki network built out and using Cactus, and that it can essentially order in an orderly way go out there and pick every single product that you've ordered online. And we know for a fact that if we can make sure that the delivery person picks the things in the right order, we can drop the amount of steps they need to take by over 40%. So the efficiency is massive.
Yeah.
You'll get your groceries faster. We increase the margins for the delivery company.
That's amazing. I can't wait for the next things from Auki, man. I'm gonna conclude this interview with a future outlook, let's say. Where do you see Auki progressing, let's say, for the next 5-10 years?
Well,
I'm assuming adoption is going to be much more, mainstream.
everything is
technology.
happening so fast
Yeah, man.
right now.
Yeah.
When we started to look into robotics in the mid of last year, more deeply, and by the time January 2025 rolled over, and we're about 4 months in now of this year, from January to now, and you can take the pivotal moment was Jensen Huang talking about physical AI being the final boss of AI, right?
Yeah.
Agentic AI, and then moving towards physical AI, which is the ability for AI to perceive the physical world and navigate and be useful to us there, right? In this past 4 months, robotics has skyrocketed. It's just gone parabolic.
Yeah.
So AI and robotics are happening at the same time. It's a very interesting time in the history of technology because we are seeing a convergence of several things coming together. We're seeing crypto in specific, deepen for me, right? I'm very bullish on deepen. Spatial computing and robotics as well as AI coming together to essentially solve all of these problems that we'll have as we move towards something called the machine economy.
The machine economy.
Yeah. I'll leave you with this, right? The machines are coming.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or I don't like it, machines are coming. And a lot of the reasons for that has to do with demographics. We're not having enough babies. We're having a working population that is going to retire, and we're going to have a lot more elder people.
Yeah, we're seeing that with South Korea, for example.
Yeah, they just entered the super age society.
Yeah,
which is unreversible. The definition of a super age society is essentially where the damage of not having enough babies is irreversible.
that you can't fix it by having more babies.
No, it's not possible for you to have enough babies now to fix it, because the trend is now downwards.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable. That's why I'm saying that the machines are coming. Because if we want to live and continue to prosper in this capitalist society that we've built, markets either go up or they go down. They don't go sideways for very long, right?
Yeah.
And so if we want to keep on prospering in this capitalist society that we've built, we're going to have to increase productivity.
Yep.
And that's going to come not from the babies, not from the old people. It's going to come from the machines. And so we must expect machines to enter the workforce. They absolutely will.
Absolutely will.
And in order to make machines intelligent in the physical world, they're going to have to get some data, right? AI wants to buy data in order to perceive the physical world and be able to navigate it with ease, right? And so my very important message to a lot of people now is that what we need to work towards is a way where we as data generators, because you as a human being just walking around physical spaces becomes a data generator, we find a way where you capture the value of that data and you share it with the machines so that you become a participant in the machine economy rather than just a consumer. Because if you just become a consumer,
we'll be out of job, we'll be out of anything.
We will have no way to make money.
Exactly. Well, thanks so much again, Santeri. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me here.
Hey, thanks again for watching this episode of Southeast Asia Brewing. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more episodes of this podcast. See you next time.